Hello and welcome or welcome back to my channel. Today I've got some super easy fall DIYs to share with you that are not only different, but are also neutral, except for one, and you'll see that you could make that one neutral. So if you want to know how to make them, stick around. I'll show you how. Thank y'all so much for being here. I really appreciate it. For this first one, I'm starting with a styrofoam ball that measures 4.7 inches in diameter, and then I'm going to take a cutting tool, a foam cutting tool, and I'm just going to cut it in half. And you can take a knife to do this, but this does go through it like butter. Next, I'm just taking some branches that I got out of my backyard. We trimmed our trees, and so I had these, and I'm just going to go ahead and distress it with a little bit of a tan paint and a little bit of brown paint. Now, if you don't have any branches to cut from, you can always get a dowel stick that's pretty big. I would say this is probably about 1.5 inches in diameter. And I'm just distressing it a little bit just to make it look a little bit more aged. And a little bit more at the bottom because that's where it would be standing in the grass. Next, I'm going to go ahead and take my stick. I'm going to put it onto my styrofoam ball, and I'm going to go ahead and draw a circle around it. I'm going to cut this section out because I do want this to be recessed inside of that styrofoam. And I'm just taking an X-Acto knife, just going to go around that circle and just dig out probably about 1/2 inch. That way the stem will be stuck inside of the styrofoam ball, and it'll hold together a little bit better with your glue. And then just go ahead and test fit it just to make sure you did get that opened up wide enough. For the top part of the mushroom, I'm just going to cover it with some Sherpa fleece. I'll give you the link for this. I got it on Etsy. Just make sure that you get a piece that's big enough to cover the entire thing because you want to make sure the bottom's covered as well. And I'm just going to use a bowl to kind of go around and shape it so I can make sure that I do get the circle shape. And I'm just eyeballing this. I just want to make sure that it did cover mine first. I think this ended up being about like a 13 by 13, but just measure it against your styrofoam and then go ahead and cut it out in a circle. And then I'm just going to make sure that I did cut it big enough so that it does cover it completely. You want to make sure it meets in the middle. And then I'm just going to go ahead and take it and I'm going to kind of shape it out a little bit better. And you want to use a fleece fabric because it's stretchy. That way, if you didn't get it exactly right, you can go ahead and pull it on around. To gather this up, I'm just going to take a needle and thread and I'm just going to sew a casing all the way around the outside edge. And I'm just going to do 1/4 inch stitches, but go ahead and start off by just go ahead and tying your knot at the end because we are going to draw it up once we get to the other side. And I'm going to leave my fabric underneath my little half circle there as I'm going around because it does end up getting a little bit stuck to the fabric and you want to kind of keep it there before you start going. Otherwise, you might not get it as even in the center. And then just go all the way around with 1/4 inch stitches till you get to the other side. Go ahead and start gathering it up and pulling it on around your styrofoam ball and make sure that you get all the way to the center. And then before you tie it off, go ahead and start smoothing out the sides. You want to make sure that the top is completely smooth, and you can get this completely smooth on top and on the sides. And then go ahead and tie a knot and tie that off. And then we're going to start gluing it in here too. And just go ahead and glue around the edge and inside as well, and then go ahead and flatten it out. You want to try to get this as flat as you can so that it doesn't droop when you actually put it on your stem. So spend a little bit of time on your gluing just to get it completely glued in real good. To make the mushroom veil, we're going to take a piece of fabric that measures 8 inches by 2 inches, and we're just going to go ahead and take some of the Tim Holtz distressing ink in the walnut stain, and I'm just going to go ahead and distress the edges of it. And I'm just using a linen fabric. And then go ahead and take your pinking shears and go ahead and trim out the edges. You want to get all the loose stuff off. Just fold it over and we're going to glue the two sides together with the ink side in the center. Go ahead and turn your fabric right side out and we're going to take a needle and thread and we are just going to sew a casing around the top edge. And I'm just using 1/4 inch stitches all the way around. And then go ahead and set it over the top part of your stick, gather it up, and then go ahead and separate the pleats a little bit so they're kind of even all the way around, and then go ahead and tie that off. Okay, then go ahead and stand it up, and then we're going to start gluing it in. Just kind of make sure your pleats are pretty even all the way around. And then just go up underneath the very bottom and then just start gluing it to the top. And you're just gluing the very top edge. You want the bottom edge to be loose. Attach my stem. I'm just going to use some E6000 glue and hot glue, and I'm just going to put a little E6000 glue inside first and onto my stick, and then put the hot glue inside here as well, and go ahead and join the two. Just push it all the way down till it's recessed inside of that mushroom head. Decorate the top a little bit. I'm just going to take some white puff paint, and I'm just going to make some decor on top of it. And I'm just doing one line and then like two little short lines underneath it, and I'm just going to kind of randomly go around on the top part of this cap. And if you don't want to put this on here, you can leave this off. It'd look good without it as well. I just thought it needed a little bit of decoration on top. I ended up doing a cluster of 3 of these. So I did a tan one and I did white lines on it. And then I also did a white one or a cream colored one, and I did brown lines on it. And I ended up having to get slicks for this. They didn't have puff paint in this color at my store. Slicks works just fine as well. And I'll give you the link for these. These turned out so super cute. You could use these in an arrangement or just individually. They'd make even great gifts, and they'd make great craft fair sellers. Let me know what you think in the comments. This next one, I'm going to use 4 pipe cleaners, and I just got those in a kind of a natural color, and then I'm going to twist them 2 times together, and then go ahead and spread out your pipe cleaner. And we're going to use 12mm beads with a hole in them, and we're going to go ahead and thread 10 on each one of these pipe cleaners. And you could use some even smaller beads than this. You don't want to go any larger than this because it might be a little bit too hard to work with. And you can use colored beads if you want to, but I'm going to show you how I'm going to finish mine out here in a little bit. You get them all completely filled up, you're just going to take them right in the center, and we're just going to fold them straight up. And then we're going to kind of line them up a little bit so that they're, side by side, and then go ahead and twist your tops completely around a few times, and then you can take an extra one and just kind of wrap it around. Just kind of really squeeze it around there. And then take one, and go ahead and wrap it around a couple of times. Take a second to thank Mead & Art for sponsoring my video today. They sent me this mini airbrush kit. This is a little bitty compressor. It just plugs right into your wall socket, has a holder for your airbrush, and then it comes with the hose to attach with it. And then you can adjust your settings with the little dial just below where the hose is hooked up. Okay, they also sent me this airbrush. They sent me a couple other ones as well, but these are super simple to use. They're easy to hold in your hand because they are lightweight, and they have a holder right on your compressor. And that's the other 2 that they sent me as well. They also sent me a cleaner, so all you got to do is put your airbrush into here and then run it, and it kind of cleans it out itself. They also sent me these paints. These are 100% toxin-free. They're a water-based paint, and so they are not harmful when you're spraying. And they give you a color wheel so that you can mix your colors to get the color that you're looking for. They also have a big variety of canvases, and I'll give you the link for all these as well as a coupon code that you can use with your purchase. I'm going to show you how to use it. I'm going to actually paint my corn. I'm going to mix some yellow with some sienna to kind of get like a dark yellow color. And then I'm going to add a little bit of water to it as well, just to kind of thin it down a little bit. Now, I read a lot of stuff on the internet about thinning down the paints, and it said that you should 1-to-1, but this paint actually, you really do not have to thin it down. The manufacturer says on their site that it's ready to go. And I'm just going to mix my 2 colors together, and I'm just going to pour it right into the little cup on my airbrush. Just pour it right into the top there, and then go ahead and put your lid back on it. Okay, then to spray it, all you're going to do is turn your compressor on, and then you're going to push down on the little knob on top and push it back. And the farther away you get, the wider area you paint, and the closer up you get the fine, lines if you want to do lines. But this was a real easy way to spray paint right inside your house without having to go outside and using spray cans that are not really good for you after all. This was definitely a game changer. I didn't know I needed this until they sent it to me. But look how pretty that does. And it dries super fast. Decorate my corn. I'm going to take 2 corn husks and I'm going to tear them up. I'm just going to tear them into strips. And I'm using 2 per each piece of corn. To attach them, I'm just going to glue it right to the top part of this corn, and I'm going to overhang the beads a little bit to kind of cover up where all the wires are. So come down probably about a 1/2 inch over the beads and glue it on both sides and then start filling it in. Kind of get it completely circled in here, and then we're just going to start adding the other ones here in a minute, and we're just going to attach those with a rubber band. Okay, so now just start adding the others and kind of space them around so that they have even amounts on each side. And then we're going to take a rubber band just to tie around at the top part, and then we're going to tie a bow here in a minute with a ribbon. And I'm just using a brown ribbon that I got at Michael's, and I'm just going to tie a bow. And you could leave these natural. If you don't want to paint those, you could leave them natural. And if you don't have corn husks, you could use raffia. And then I'm going to go ahead and shred mine just a little bit more. Then I'm just going to cut them a little bit shorter, probably about 3 inches. And then I'm going to round off the edges to make it not look so uniform. All right, that was pretty easy. Look how cute these are. These turned out so cute. If you wanted to do these in neutrals, you could do those in even blues, tans, and creams. They'd be so pretty. Let me know what you think. This one I'm going to use a mug I got at Dollar Tree, and I'm going to spray paint it with a flat tan paint. Then I took it outside, and I'm going to take a chip brush and a paper towel and some wood stain. I'm using a water-based wood stain, and I am just going to rough it up a little bit to try to make it look a little bit more like wood. You want to go ahead and dip your chip brush into the paint or into the stain, get most of it off, and then start working it. And I did mine pretty heavily. And you can start light if you want to and then go back and get a little bit heavier. That's what I did, but I ended up putting quite a bit on it. And I did do the top of the inside of it as well because you will see that one. To decorate my mug, I'm going to take the pattern for the barn. This is a pattern that I used during the Christmas holiday too, but it's a lot smaller. And I'm going to use corrugated cardstock that I got at Hobby Lobby. Now that you got your pattern pieces cut out, go ahead and fold the tabs back. And then we're going to glue this together. We're just going to use hot glue. You're just making a rectangle. For the roof, I'm going to take a piece of the cardstock. It measures 2 inches by 5 1/8 inches. And then you're going to go ahead and score it right down the center for the roof peak. And then go ahead and figure out where you need your next places to bend. And then go ahead and score them as well. Just make sure that you get both sides matching. And then cut out a few little pieces of paper. We're going to go ahead and use these to attach them, kind of like paper dolls. We're going to put it inside there. But go ahead and get your roof peak at the end down there, and we're going to bend that one outwards. So go ahead and mark that one, and then bend it outwards. Okay, to assemble the little house, you're going to take your little paper pieces and go ahead and glue them on the inside, fold them over, and then that's what the roof is going to set on top of. So just glue those in and just make sure that they are flush with the top. And you're going to use 4 of those. And then you're going to use 2 for the sides. Put a little bit of hot glue on each one of your tabs and go ahead and attach your roof. And then go ahead and pull it down to the side and attach it to the two side pieces. Okay, for the doors and the windows, I'm going to use these little balsa wood pieces of wood I got at Hobby Lobby. They're just a real thin balsa wood and they come in different shapes. And I'm just going to use my little table chop saw to shorten them up a little bit. And go ahead and glue your doors on side by side. And then attach your window at the very top. And then there's a little skinny piece of wood we're going to put across the top part of the doors. Just kind of line it up right over the center. And then I'm going to take mine outside and I'm going to spray paint it with a dark brown paint. And then now that it's dry, I'm just going to take a ruler and I'm just going to draw an X with a black Sharpie across both doors. And to distress it a little bit, I'm just going to take a dry chip brush and I'm going to brush with some gold paint. Okay, I'm adding some styrofoam right to the center of this. I'm going around the edges so it'll hold on to the edges a little bit better and to the bottom. And then I'm going to take some little moss and just cover the top of it. And I'm just going to glue this in. And then I'm going to decorate it and I'm going to kind of go quickly over the decorating part of it just so you can kind of see what I'm doing. Okay, I'm going to take a cardboard insert just to attach to the bottom of the little barn so that I can poke a dowel stick through it to hold it into the little flower pot. Just kind of fold it over just like we did the top roof and then just go ahead and glue those little tabs into the bottom. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and fill the front up with some smaller leaves. I got these on a little bundle at Hobby Lobby. And then I'm going to add some taller ones in the back. I'm going to kind of go through this fast, but you can see what I'm doing. Just kind of building up the back a little bit more than the front because we are going to put the house kind of in the center. But just get all that green moss covered up and get those leaves put in there. And I'm just using bamboo skewers to kind of help push this in here. And then just kind of cut that off. It holds it in place. To attach the house, I'm just going to poke a hole in it with an X-Acto knife. And I'm going to add one of those little bamboo skewers. Because it's going to be elevated up into the planter. And that's how that's looking so far. Okay, then I'm going to start embellishing it. I have some wheat. I have some little white furry accent pieces. And I'm going to add a few little pumpkins to this. And I'm going to go fast on this, but you can be able to see what I'm doing. The more you can get on here, the better it looks because it really does fill up that mug. And you can get some really good ideas by looking on some florist websites. They always have a lot of stuff in their floral arrangements, and it just kind of gives you some ideas on things that you can use and how full that you want to make it. And then I'm going to add a little wheat to the front, and then I'm going to put a couple little of pumpkin skewers into the back. Okay, that's how that turned out. Just real neutral colors. I love the way this one turned out. Just a small mug made such a huge arrangement. Let me know what you think in the comments. Which one's your favorite today? For this project, I'm just using some pallet wood that I had in scraps, and I'm just going to cut these to 9 inches in length. And this is going to be for the bottom of my box. Just make sure that you get them lined up good and then go ahead and cut them at exactly the same length. Okay, now that I got the bottom cut, I'm going to go ahead and make the sides. I'm just going to measure it against the base of this on both pieces, and then I'll cut those two sides also, exactly the same size. Before I cut my last two pieces, I'm going to go ahead and assemble what I have so I can get an exact measurement on this. And I'm just going to use wood glue to attach this. And if you have clamps, go ahead and clamp it. And you can get those on Amazon. They're real inexpensive, but I definitely recommend getting a set of those if you're going to do woodworking. And then let that dry. That's dried. I'm going to go ahead and attach my two side pieces, and I'm going to use wood glue on those as well. And I am going to clamp these also. As that's dry, we're going to go ahead and measure for the wood for the sides. And then I'm just going to cut this off with my saw. And then I already attached one side off camera, sorry about that. And then I'm going to go ahead and attach the other side. Same thing with wood glue and clamping it. This is a good way to use up some scrap wood. To decorate my box, I'm just going to put a piece of styrofoam right into the center and just glue it in. I'm going to take a eucalyptus vine that I had, and I'm just going to go ahead and fill in all the way around the styrofoam. Now, I'm not going to glue this in. I'm just setting it in here. That way, if I want to use this for Christmas or something like that, I can still do that. And then I'm going to cut an additional piece in half, and I'm just going to put it right into the center. This will just cover up the styrofoam. Okay, then I'm just going to attach some pumpkins with some little bamboo skewers, and I got those at Hobby Lobby. Just going to kind of cut them off and just stick one on each side. These are the ones that have like a knitted fabric on them. And then I'm going to add 2 blue ones also to this. And I'm using the bamboo skewers on it as well. I'm not gluing anything in here at all because if I do want to reuse this, I can. And then I'm going to add a white pumpkin right in the center. And then I got this bag of acorns at Dollar Tree, and I'm just going to kind of scatter them amongst the greenery. And that was pretty much it. It was pretty simple. This is so pretty. I love the combination of these colors for fall. They go well together, and this is something that you can make out of scrap wood. If you like these kind of videos, be sure and give me a like, subscribe, and ring that bell so you're notified when I have a new video upload. Thank y'all so much for being here. I really appreciate it. And if nobody's told you today, you're awesome. Thanks for watching. See you next time.